Okay, let's get started. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this Thursday evening. Um, we have Ashwath Kumar with us today, who is going to be talking about a very interesting topic, which is AI in software testing. Artificial intelligence has become a buzzword, and Ashwath, who has been there with us in Moolya for almost 5 years, comes with an extensive knowledge in testing. I have heard a lot of great things about him. He's a great mentor. His colleagues, teammates, all of us adore him very much. And for all of us at Moolya, he is a fitness and health influencer as well. I am super excited to have him over here today to be talking about artificial intelligence in software testing. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Ashwath, for talking about this amazing topic. And we can get started. Over to you, Ashwath.
Hey, Rucha, thank you so much. Hey, all. Good evening. Trust me, I didn't bribe Rucha to tell all those about me. Thank you. As Rucha told, I've been with Moolya for almost 5 years now. I have over 1.5 decade of testing experience. I started my career with Infosys and moved on to working with a product company. Then I came to Moolya, and the journey has been amazing till now. And yeah, here I am. And thank you, Moolya, for giving me the opportunity, first of all. And thanks, everyone. I know you're all busy and you've taken time to come and have some learnings from here, right? So I would definitely ensure that your time, whatever you spend, would be worth every minute. So without any further delay, let's quickly jump into the presentation.
Okay. So the buzz is now you can see there are a lot of things which is going on around AI. A lot of terms. It could be artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep science, data science. Right? There are so many things which are going on. And let's see why this sudden buzz and what this artificial intelligence all about and how does it solve our problem, right? We are all interested, does this really solve my problem, isn't it? If not, we are not interested. So first of all, I would like to tell our body is made up of 5 elements, right? Air, water, fire, ether, isn't it? So, and we have, that is called physical body. And you have subtle body, which is not seen. Physical body is which is seen. We call us in Sanskrit terms, we call us stula sharira, the physical body, which is visible. And there is something called subtle body, the stula sharira, which is not visible. You might be wondering in artificial intelligence, why I'm talking all these things. Definitely there is a connect. So having said that, let's come back to the subtle bodies, Stula Sharira, consisting of, what does it consist? Mind, intelligence, false ego. So you take any human being on the earth, we are all consisting of these 8 elements, physical body and subtle body. Physical body, 5 elements, subtle bodies, mind, intelligence, and false ego. When you say false ego, it's the I factor, right? We all know I am taking the session, I am attending the session, I want to grow, I want my career to be strong, I want my family. It's all I factor. That is quite common, right? So that's what makes difference between us and the animals, isn't it? So these 3. So when we talk about intelligence, it naturally comes to us when we are in mother womb. So we have certain kind of intelligence which gradually progresses by based on what our mother teaches, what we observe from friends, from the environment, from the surroundings, from our siblings, from parents, from neighbors. There are so many things we learn. That is called intelligence. And there are some certain natural intelligence which are inbuilt within us when we are born. For example, a baby, nobody will teach the baby to crawl or after certain age, to stand up and walk. So these are all automatically intelligent mechanism which has come in human body, right? So similarly, we have artificial intelligence. So this intelligence, how can we do it, or how can we teach a computer or non-human, for example, right? That is what it's all about. Today's talk is all about that. Okay, so to begin with, yes, definitely there are a lot of buzz around. So hope you understood the difference where I'm coming from: the physical body, the subtle body, the mind, the intelligence, and the ego part. All right, so let's move on. Then today's topic is AI in software testing, the intelligence. Yeah, so we understood, right, where the intelligent natural intelligence have come within us, and how we are trying to develop this kind of intelligence, which we call as artificial intelligence, to a non-human. So let's see what's in it for me. So definitely you'll be interested, right? What is there for me to learn on today? So we'll be covering on these many topics. It could be how the AI can solve a problem in software testing, right? Could be test case generation or readability. Test management is one of the challenging factors in testing. Defect detection, environment setup, obviously when it comes to DevOps. So there are so many things to talk about, right? Okay, so before that, let's talk about evolution of testing. So if you see this chart, back in 80s, there were traditional waterfall approach and manual testing were very dominating at that time, right? 80s and 90s. And as we moved on to 90s, the new development methodology like Scrum, XP, RAD started popping up. But unfortunately, at that part of time, test automation were pretty bulky and very expensive. So because that's the era where automation was introduced. Moving on to 2000s, we saw an open source framework which came up where it encouraged people to collaborate together, and which was really cool, isn't it? Then agile methodologies like XP, Kanban, Scrum became kind of norm in SDLC. And we also saw the release cycle was quite faster because it was more of crowd testing and collaborative testing. So which became very popular in probably 2010. And nowadays it's all about scalability, finding quick bugs, and definitely DevOps got introduced where we had more focus on CI/CD, and which helped the process to streamline, where development and deployment process ran very quickly. And obviously it was very good approach, and we all know what's currently going on, right? But going ahead, it seems to be the software industry is moving towards the machine learning and AI stuffs. Then who knows what the future holds for us? But definitely, what I feel is there is some cool stuff which is coming up, and let's see how far we can go along with that. Right. So that is the evolution where we came from waterfall to the AI. Now the terminologies what we use in AI. When we talk about artificial intelligence, it's like kind of a brain, a program brain for the computers, which can solve a problem better than humans. When I say better than humans, it's not with respect to the solution, it with respect to the agility, with respect to the stability. It will be very fast. Of course, the input goes from the humans, definitely. Like for example, playing a chess, right, with the computer, or see, it has some intelligence developed. when you see the patterns, when you play a chess with AI, we all play chess with our machines, right? So whatever move we take, it thinks, it has certain intelligence built through programming, and it thinks and it moves according to our move, right? That is kind of artificial intelligence. And when it comes to machine learning, of course, it's a subset of AI, again, which it is done by providing data and some kind of patterns and trends of. I can give you a good example, say for example, Netflix, YouTube, Instagram. When you see nowadays, we scroll our screens with Insta reels, isn't it? So how it populates, there are so many things which is going on, so it observes the pattern. So where you are spending your time too much. So for example, if it's a fitness video, are you spending time on that? Are you completing the reel, or you're just scrolling, or are you forwarding it to someone? Are you liking it? Are you commenting it? Where you are spending maximum amount of time. So these patterns it's observes. Or when it comes to food reel, or you spend how much time you are spending, or if it comes to something learning, you're not interested, you'll just scroll. So these kind of patterns and data which they'll analyze, uh, the overall term is data science. These kind of things they analyze, and they'll make a certain algorithm out of this. Okay, for this person, I need to pop up this kind of food. I'm interested in food, I'm interested in fitness, so we want to show him or her more of these kind of reels. So see, basically the social media guys wanted attention, right? Their product is not your attention. So they wanted you to spend more and more and more time on their platform. It could be YouTube Shorts, Insta Reels, or Netflix. So what you are interested, they learn. So that is where the machine learning and certain algorithms comes from, right? And deep learning definitely focuses on, kind of neural networks. It's similar to what we have in our brain. So that's what it focuses on. Again, it has different types like natural language processing, computer vision. So how, if I show, so there is something called cat and cow difference. Okay, how the machine identifies whether it's a cat or cow. So it has certain kind of neural networks which is built in the application. So that it will kind of get close to, and it identified, okay, this is cat, this is cow, right? So that is the science behind this. Moving on. So there are different types of machine learning algorithms. So it's all based on algorithms like supervised, unsupervised, reinforced. These are all different types where we give so this it's kind of, we give a bunch of, for example, we give a bunch of emails, we'll send emails, and we'll tell the machine, can you extract the spam, or can you filter out the spam and give me only the right kind of emails. So it does that. It does that for us based on its previous or kind of patterns. Okay, the name starting with this, or the keyword has, if it has this, it is spam. So that's how it's kind of supervised. Okay, it supervises. Okay, this is spam, so I'll filter out and take it away. I'll show only the primary emails. So this kind of supervised learning, it has that intelligence. Okay, and unsupervised could be like, as I told, how to make the user click on certain ads. You remember, if you see wherever we browse, so today if you search something on Amazon, so next day you open any website, so it will pop up, okay, this is still in the cart, or this is where you were interested, we have reduced the price. So all those things, so from where it has come, so there is some algorithm which is running at the back end, and it pops up to seek your attention again, so that you'll go kind of buy that product, right? And reinforced means creating, like taking a single image and creating a kind of 3D model out of it, or you have noise reductions in your earphones, in your Zoom settings. So all these things like could be data compression, or there is something called feature extraction. So all these things will come under reinforced learning. So these are all different categories of algorithms which we have in machine learning, or kind of, as I told, chess game, it has some. And also the most complex self-driving cars also works on these algorithms. So it's little complex, but the logic is the same. So now we move on. And also when we talk about a lot of data science, right? So why data is pretty so much important? Why? What do they do out of data? We all have smartwatches, for example, right? Even I have. So whether we track or not, we just use our smartwatch for just to see the steps or see the time or keep some reminders. But rather than us, there is somebody else who track in and out of our data. Whether we track or not, there is somebody else who is tracking. So they collect all the data. Can you guess who is the kind of best person or very much interested in data out of the smartwatches? Any guess? It is our insurance companies. It's our healthcare industry. So they are more worried or focused on your data. When you sleep, when do you sleep? What is your weight? What's your height? What is your BMI? Right? How many steps you take? What is your activity level? Are you sitting for hours together, or are you alert? How is your sleep pattern? So these kind of data they take and they analyze. Okay, he's our target. He or she is our targeted audience. So that is where this data, flows. And of course, we can talk a lot of data breaching, all those things, but that's how the reality works. So the healthcare industry will take this data and analyze, and they'll target certain group of people. Okay, this is where my potential client is. This is where I can make business. So that's how we get a lot of calls and so many things for health checkup or for insurance, so many things. So this is what everything is tracked nowadays. So types of AI in software testing. We know about machine learning and okay, NLP, as I spoke about, NLP is kind of natural language processing, where it can analyze uh, test results and generate beautiful reports. We all hate to generate reports, right? We had that big data. Out of that, we used to put Excel sheet, color code it, put data labels. So much time we used to spend. So now a problem is solved. Like AI does this for us. When you want to present the test results to our stakeholders. Then we have computer visions, which kind of it has built on an algorithm for those images. As I told, how it works is when I pop up show image, so it identifies. The best example I can give is Google Lens. We all use, right? I don't know what is that. For example, if you go for to buy some green vegetables, I don't know what is the name. So I scan and search in Google. It shows. What intelligent as, what is the science behind that, right? So as I told, they'll take some 100 picture of one of the images and they'll push in the data and push to the software application. So it knows, okay, anything. So if I have an apple, I take pictures from all 360 degrees, up, down, and it knows, okay, anything which is resembles this is an apple. So that's how it identifies. The example is best you can relate is Google Lens. We all used, and as I mentioned, cats and dogs, right? So it discriminates between, how does it discriminate between a cat and dog? Even a child can tell, human can tell which is cat, but when it comes to computer vision, how does there are so many things. Probably length of the legs, ears, whiskers, all those things. So it identifies, okay, this is what it has short, it has long. So based on so many factors, it identifies. And also, if you would have seen one more example I could think of is Lenscard, right? If you go on to the Lenscard website, you can just log in, you can just take a picture from your front camera, and you can just select whatever you know glasses you want, whatever frame you want, and it shows how you look. So that is also kind of computer vision. It sets, okay, which suits you, which doesn't suit you, all those things. So these are all helping the problems of for the humans for better user experience. So now we'll as we are all testers, we are more interested in what it can do in my day-to-day task. We don't want to hear other stuffs. So we are interested in how it can help me when I talk about testing. Day-to-day, my day-to-day activity involve test case writing, test case execution, test data search. So all the report preparation, bug tracker. So there are so many things. How does AI help? That's where we are interested, right? So AI is also used to, we can generate test cases, certain test cases, which uses machine learning algorithms to identify potential defects. And it also prioritizes testing by using AI we can generate test cases. Test cases can be more efficient and effective when you I'll show you the example how we can use this probably at the end of the session. Best example is that web application that allows the user to create and share to-do list. Just for example, let's take there is a website called which through which I can create and share the to-do list, right? So how does it create test cases for maze? Like first input generation, right? So generate various types of input based on what kind of UI it is, with different combination, probably valid and invalid combination. We all know that. For instance, can I save with empty to-do list? I've not typed anything. Can I save? Can I share? So can I use the special characters? Can I how long is the task description? Can I save it without the subject line? So all these things will be taken care, which is basic. And also it does the boundary value analysis. So when you give what is the minimum value, what is the max value, and it also simulates the error in the application where when we lose the network connectivity, these are all edge cases, right? We all test when we lose the network connectivity while saving the to-do list, how does it behave? And definitely on regression testing, it helps, and prioritizing the test cases. So this gives a complete, I would not say complete, at least the framework for us, so that we can take out that and we can modify it in a better way, rather than sitting and beginning from the scratch. It sets a framework, so you can modify according to your need. Then moving on, automatic visual recognition. So image-based testing used in we spoke about computer vision, how it uses, right, like Google Lens. One method of testing that is which is becoming increasingly popular every day is image-based testing using like automated visual verification tools. We have a lot of tools among about this. So where the machine learning model testing it can detect the minor UI incompatibility where we are likely to, human eye might likely to miss very small minor details, right? So the main purpose of this UI testing is to probably ensure that if the element looks good with respect to size, color, shape, when it comes to accessibility testing, right? It is very important. So so my slide is kind of, background is too dark. I can't put a black font color, right? It is white, so you are able to view it better. So all these kind of things, it will be taken care. Like as I told, Google Lens, right? So it's a visual search tool where the AI and computer vision analyzes and understand the image and uh, it recognizes and it gives you the right or similar kind of image and text around that. So initially when we had this lockdown, the cult fit app used to, it all became famous since we never used to step out. And all had cult fit app where a person is teaching, a trainer is teaching, and you can turn on your video from the front camera. It recognizes your actions, certain actions, the way you perform, how intensity you're doing, and it gives some kind of rating. Hope you all would have remembered this. It gives some kind of booster. So these are all visual recognition. It visualizes your actions, how intense you are doing. Are you in sync with the trainer? And it used to give some kind of rewards or points, or out of 100 people, you are in top 10, top 15. So all these things was taken care by visual recognition. So that is where it used to come. All the UI aspects will be taken care by this. Moving on, certainly it will improve the readability, reliability. So when I talk about reliability, right? So it can complete the code and make it more reliable. So we have seen there are certain apps. So for example, initially we used to face this, right? When Selenium test fail due to some small minor changes in the application, such as probably renaming or resizing of the field. So obviously when you run the test, it used to fail when the developer changes a small thing, probably a letter, probably a dot. So it used to fail. So this problem all the testers have faced. Definitely it used to fail, then we used to debug and go back to the developers. Now how the AI has solved this problem is, AI testing can completely look at the code and make it more reliable. So you don't have to change the test every time when the developer makes a small change. So once you integrate it, it automatically identifies what change has been done, and it gives the pass result. And certain machine learning models testing can read these changes in the application, and it kind of understand the relation between them. So we also there is something called self-healing script. There are certain tools which does the self-healing. So as I told, if there are some changes, some minor change in the name of the field or name of the function, so it automatically self-heals and observe these changes in the application. And it also learns how to change that methods and recognizes the runtime error, all those things, and it gives the right results. So that is where we can use this AIs in our software testing to be do better on reliable part. So now when it comes to automation, so we have pretty good tools which focus on automation. We have no code, low code, test sigma, virtuoso. There are so many things which has come up. This includes like small kind of minor bots and intelligent script, where tools can help you to improve on the better coverage and definitely reduce the testing time and identify defects swiftly, right? And kind of these tools also leverage the AI techniques such as computer vision, natural learning processing, and ML to enhance the efficiency of test automation. Okay, and one of the challenging is test coverage, right? So that will be taken care, and you need not to remember a lot of syntaxes from functions. So many things. Debugging will be easy when you start. You don't have to sit and think the flow. The framework will be set, and you need to just change your minor maybe variables or some functions based on your application. And test data management, certainly it is a big challenge when you talk about when I was working in one of the healthcare industry. We used to the application I used to work used to serve the data, the scientists, the medical scientists were used to do a lot of researchers. So clinical researchers, basically, they used to do clinical trials on thousands and thousands of million people. And we used to have huge set of data. It used to go up to lakhs, right? So we had very challenging time to create each time when I test. It was very challenging to create this test data. So now AI can certainly help us. It can manage test data in testing, kind of including data mining, and it can predict predictive analysis. There is something called predictive analysis. It can certainly predict better. Probably in one of the projects where I'm currently working on, there is something called predictive analysis, which is close to 96% plus. So that is where it can predict. So that is the accuracy we have seen. So it's definitely a boon for us, right? When it comes to test data, it can quickly generate some chunk or kind of sample data. When it comes to test data management. And of course, when we are testers, our favorite is the test execution part, right? It also helps us in executing test, which includes the use of intelligent test execution engines and automated test suits, right? There are certain tools which can help us to improve on coverage, reduce testing time, and identify more and more defects quickly and accurately. And as I always mention, nothing close to what human can do, but of course we can take this help and we can do our job better when it comes to test execution and analysis, where tools can help us to execute the test cases and kind of simulate user interactions. And it will help us to it will compare the result. Okay, this is what actual result and this is what I'm expecting. So this is not working well. There is something wrong. So, and through image recognition and test analysis, this can also identify if there is any discrepancy with respect to visual, and it can also generate error logs, right? When we have a bug, that is also one of the pain areas for the testers. Go pick up a log, logs will be very huge, and pick up the certain in network tab, go and check for particular log where it has failed. So this AI can solve this problem also. So it can give fast detection and it can point out where exactly the where exactly the pain point when you are searching the logs. It can point out where exactly the fix is needed. Hope you are all with me. So moving on, defect detection. Yes, AI is also used to detect defects in testing. There are certain machine learning algorithms which can identify patterns, and which when it comes to defects, see how do we know that's a defect or will be a potential defect which is not normal, right? Which is kind of not close to the normal. There is some deviation, right? So certain algorithms can identify, okay, this is out of track. This is not the pattern which we are supposed to have. So based on this, it will predict, right? So there are AI tools which can detect defects, by which definitely the testing results can be more effective and efficient. So when I tell about defect prediction of the defects, right? It can analyze the historical data. Okay, previous build I had in transfer. For example, if you are testing in a banking, transfer module had more number of defects. It will compare, it will analyze the historic defect data and it will test that application probably more times, right? Based on what fixes they have given around the module. And it also helps us to execute results, and code metrics, and yeah, we'll talk about test reporting after execution, right? So definitely these informations what we gain, and it also predicts the area where there will be more prone to defects. So by this, we can go in depth and test in that particular module. And when it comes to going on, when it comes to test environment management, right? So configure and management, always we all complain test environment is down, staging is down, isn't it? It is always a challenge, right? So how does AI solve? Yes, it helps us to set up or kind of manage test environment, which includes some configuration management. It has the provision of some intelligence which helps us in configuration management. By using this kind of tools, we can manage test environment, and it can assist us in managing it, and whatever configuration is required in terms of, like database, could be database and network setup. This also helps us to streamline the environment setup. So when it is down, and definitely it will be more consistent and reliable. Yes, moving on. We are we started with writing test cases, and here we are now reporting. And yeah, it helps us to generate certain charts and graphs, which is kind of beautification and to the point. Now nobody would scroll through the Excel and wanted to see how many test cases passed, how many are failed, how many is blocked, right? So it's all visual representation is always better. So definitely AI also helps us to generate some beautiful presentations like this, where this visual will appeal to the people. It can create charts, graphs, and kind of dashboards can be created automatically by uh, injecting certain metrics, and so by which we can monitor test progress, and we know where how is our health of the product. So there are a lot of additional benefit of using AI for software testers like us, which reduces the time cycle and help to prevent bugs faster by could be automating the process or correcting the code. As I told, self-healing can be done. Assigning the bug tracking to the QA teams, that is also possible. Now currently we do manually. It can take care of this. So that is also a great advantage. And yeah, test scripts automation is performed by this AI, which can eliminate manual execution, right, as much as possible. So yeah, speed of test coverage by monitoring apps and components, and repeated execution. Probably if you have more than 1,000 test cases, it can take care, the pace can be taken care. When you do manually, definitely it needs a lot of time. And it can give certain instant feedback, resolving errors in early uh, part of the life cycle, and it reduces the manual effort. And cost requirement, when I talk about cost requirements, there are so many open tools, which the open source tools. And when it comes to having this kind of like probably executing 1,000 test cases, you need a lot of manual efforts, so many testers. So considering that aspect, it can reduce the cost as well, and certainly improves the accuracy by, as I told, by automating repetitive tasks, right? It will help. So now you're all interested in which tools. You're talking about AI can help, what kind of tools, right? So we have so many tools which can certainly help, right? So Virtusa is one of the tool which we are using, at least in one of the project which I am leading. It is a very low code tool, which definitely is helping us. So you can just Google you can download, and you have a lot of benefits of this tool. Probably you can take a screenshot of this. You can go and check. These are all tools which helps in testing. We have Ask UI. I've used Ask UI. It's very good. Functionize, test IM. So probably you can go and research on this and see how this will be helpful for you all. So virtual is solving our problems with low code. It's kind of English language. Okay, not much of syntax is required. If you know very basics of coding, you'll be able to pick it up very easily. You can self-learn also. So that tool we are using, and it is working very well for us. You can probably search on these tools. It's all free tools. You can see which tool helps your product or your kind of work, your kind of testing, whatever, whichever project you are working, which you can utilize. Going on, yes, there are certain best practices. If you're planning to use any of these tools in your testing, it's also important to follow certain best practices to ensure you're using the technology the best possible way. Okay. And certainly not only that, but you also want to ensure you use it in an ethical way, right? What does it mean is that your data, the input data is of top quality, and yeah, the more the accurate data you give, the accurate result you can expect. And also very important, AI uses to augment human capabilities. Okay, that's all. It's not like AI would replace you or me. So kind of AI can act as a buddy for me. It can't replace. Okay, so people who have this in mind, no, it can be a buddy. So I can talk, okay, can you help me out this? Can you help me out creating this? I'm stuck here. Can you help me with edge cases? So all these things we can, but AI would definitely not replace. So that's one thing you need to keep in mind. It is kind of, we can take help and we can do our job more effectively and efficiently. And definitely there are so many industries which are using AI. You can see it has almost spread across all kind of industries, right? So banking and e-commerce being more prone. Now all big giant companies like Meta, Facebook, Amazon are more investing more on AI to learn and get the things going on pretty fast, right? I could talk about e-commerce since we all use Amazon, right? So there is something called fraud detection, right? Earlier, a person used to sit and detect or kind of underwrite all these things. If you go to a bank, so probably 10-15 years back, if you go to the bank for a loan, there used to be a kind of loan underwriter. So when you give all the documentations, your ID proof, your salary slips, your income proof, so you used to analyze, right? So and used to give the rating. Okay, you will be able to, we will be able to give you a loan or not. If yes, what is the amount? So I used to manually analyze. Now we have so many tools which can, like algorithms, so many things which can analyze based on, that's what predictive analysis. It can quickly do that job and it can tell us whether you'll be able to give the loan or not, how much you are eligible. So all these things will be taken care. It's pretty fast now, right? And in e-commerce, they use this for fraud detection, for credit cards, people who doesn't pay loans, people who breach these documents. There are so many things, and which the AI solves the real life problems, like in e-commerce. If you take product returns, shipment delays, of course the cyber security, when we enter the card details, how secure it is, So it's all been managed by AI with certain algorithms. So now the conclusion is, before I move to the conclusion, I would like to show a video what AI can do for you. You can just watch this.
Saqib Sheikh. I lost my sight when I was 7, and shortly after that, I went to a school for the blind. And that's where I was introduced to talking computers, and that really opened up a whole new world of opportunities. I joined Microsoft 10 years ago as a software engineer. I love making things which improve people's lives. And one of the things I've always dreamt of since I was at university was this idea of something that could tell you at any moment what's going on around you.
I think it's a man jumping in the air doing a trick on a skateboard.
I teamed up with like-minded engineers to make an app which lets you know who and what is around you. It's based on top of the Microsoft Intelligence APIs, which makes it so much easier to make this kind of thing. The app runs on smartphones, but also on the Pivot Head smart glasses. When you're talking to a bigger group, sometimes you can talk and there's no response, and you think, is everyone listening really well, or are they half asleep? And you never know.
I see two faces, 40-year-old man with a beard looking surprised, 20-year-old woman looking happy.
The app can describe the general age and gender of the people around me and what their emotions are, which is incredible. One of the things that's most useful about the app is the ability to read out text.
Hello, good afternoon. Using menu.
Great, thank you. I can use the app on my phone to take a picture of the menu, and it's going to guide me on how to take that correct photo.
Move camera to the bottom right and away from the document.
And then it'll recognize the text. Read me the headings.
I see appetizers, salads, paninis, pizzas, pastas.
Hi. Years ago, this was science fiction. I never thought it would be something that you could actually do, but artificial intelligence is improving at an ever faster rate, and I'm really excited to see where we can take this. As engineers, we're always standing on the shoulders of giants, building on top of what went before. And in this case, we've taken years of research from Microsoft Research to pull this off.
I think it's a young girl throwing an orange frisbee in the park.
For me, it's about taking that far-off dream and building it one step at a time. I think this is just the beginning.
Well, isn't it amazing? You saw how, right? AI helped this amazing software engineer. You know, he had this passion to build, and people who are not able to visualize now have the ability to visualize their surroundings and things, know what's happening around, right? As I told, AI is nothing but the capability of the machine to imitate the intelligence of human brain, right? It is kind of not close, but at least it can imitate what humans can do, kind of mimicking the human brain, right? So it was amazing. For me, at least, this video was very inspired. It's next level of AI, what can do. And see, when we all know, like we all use chat GTPs, there are so many things which has come up, like Brad we have, Perplex we have, right, and Blink we have. So how this helps? Say, for example, I was just preparing, okay, share, I go and give, okay, here I just type this. Can you write test cases for me on UI login functionality for a web application? So that's a very basic. Let's see what it can do for us. And having said that, this is kind of not end to end it can do, but at least it sets me a framework where I can use this, modify according to my need, Yeah, this is where it is, right? So it gives valid credentials, and these are the steps: description, expected, invalid credentials, empty fields, password, visibility, right? It gives me I can get this in a tabular form also. So by giving some prompt, it can convert this in a tabular form also, right? Having said that, don't completely rely on these test cases. So you can pick this as a framework and modify according to your need. Okay, that is from a functional standpoint, right? And you can also you can ask, can you give me edge cases? Can you explore more on this? Can you give me in a tabular form? Can you shorten this? There are so many things which you can explore. And when you talk about I just asked, can you give UI automation code using Selenium WebDriver in Python for same login, this functional and this automation? See how it has given. It is invoking the WebDriver, right? Example.com. It's invoked and it's giving the username, password. So if I'm not able to identify, it also gives me what does it mean. So that is the beauty of using certain AI tools. This is one example. You have so many like this, which you can certainly use on. And the conclusion is, yes, why question mark? You can conclude yourself whether to use AI or not in your current jobs or in your day-to-day life. For anything, that's up to you. Super. And thank you so much uh, for all the attention throughout the session. I think you guys were amazing participants. I hope you find this webinar informative and engaging. And certainly I look forward to see you all in the next webinar. And thanks a ton for Moolya for this amazing opportunity. If you have any questions, you can please feel free to ask, or based on time interest, you can also reach out to me on LinkedIn. We'll certainly connect and discuss more about this.
Thank
Over
you.
to you, Richa.
We can take up a few questions. We have a few more minutes. So if anyone has any questions, we can definitely take that right now. Yes. Ashwath, we have a question from Tejas over here. He asked if there is any specific disadvantage of AI.
Yes, as I told, it can only mimic or kind of acts, comes close to a human brain. It can't replace the human brain. When you get the output from the AI, you have to certainly analyze. You can't see, I showed the code, you can't directly copy paste it and run. So it gives failure, right? Because you need to configure based on your setup, based on what inputs you are given, what function name you have used, what file name you have used. So all those things you have to modify it accordingly. And also said that it can't give the accurate data. It is kind of closed data. If you see for example, Chat GPT, if you see, there are certain clauses which they use. The data which comes out, it is kind of, it's not updated. The last updated on Chat GPT was September 2021. So after 2020, for example, if you ask who is the current CM of Karnataka, it doesn't answer because it has the whole data. Right. So these are certain drawbacks of AI. At least for now, maybe in future it might improve, but as I told, nowhere it can match the human capability, human intelligence. That's why we call that as artificial intelligence.
Hope that question is answered, Tejas. The next one we have from Ashwath Kumar. He says, how can we start learning? Is any class planned? I would just like to answer that, Ashu. We don't have any classes in Moolya. This is just a webinar that we are doing to just spread knowledge or take part in community, engage people. We do not do any sessions or classes, but you can definitely reach out to our branch, which is Moolya Ed, who focuses on training, software testing training. And definitely they can probably organize something on that sort. The next one, Ashwath, is for you. Diksha asks if there is any AI tool for command line testing, or if you have any suggestions for command line testing through AI.
I'm sorry, I'm not aware of any tool for now. It might be, but I'm not aware of that. Probably I can research and come back.
Okay, cool. Anyone else?
Yeah, hi, this
AI
side
can
also.
use in mainframe. Yeah. So Vikas says we can use AI in mainframe testing, Ashwath.
In mainframes.
Yeah, mainframe testing.
Okay.
Can we?
Yes, we can definitely. So you can ask anything and everything. As I told, if you are using Chat GPT, the data is not updated up to date. It is the latest update was September 2021. If you have free version, and you can use alternatives to Chat GPT, which is BARD, which has recently come up, powered by Google. It has latest updates, so that you can use. Probably I've not explored more on that, but yeah, you can use that.
Okay, perfect.
And also Microsoft has also launched something called Bing. You can use that also. That is also updated to date, but you can't expect the kind of data similar to ChatGPT.
Okay, perfect. Hope that answers your question, Vikas. Okay. Anyone else? You can also unmute yourself and ask the question directly to Ashwath or type in the chat box here.
Hello.
Also, for all those who are leaving, thank you so much for staying throughout. It was lovely to have you all. Hope you are taking back a lot of insights. Ashwath started with a very nice flow. From the beginning, he connected subtle body, AI. It was a very interesting thing for me as well. And Ashwath, the video was really enlightening, and the demo that you showed with ChatGPT were a few of my key takeaways. So thank you so much for a rich session.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you everyone for joining us. You can definitely stay connected. Thank you. Have a nice evening.